ready to volunteer for answering the question? Only 2 volunteers, please. Young female leaders, I want to hear 2 answers, please. Young female leaders, quick. Welcome. Can the mic please pass to? Oh. I want you to answer your neighbor's answer, not your. Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anabela, all the way from Mozambique. And my neighbor's leader, female leader, was Graça Machel. I think we all know Graça Machel. She's Mozambican, and she fights against child marriage, and she's an advocate for young women education and human rights in general.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Another volunteer, please. One more before we start our session.
I'm passing the mic.
One more volunteer, please. Oh, there.
Greetings everyone. I'm Itumeleng Sangwa from South Africa. My neighbor's answer was Mary Izabo. She actually feels inspired by her, and she feels like maybe one day she could become like her and be like, oh, you know,
Thank you so much, young female leaders. I hope you had something to learn from your neighbors, right? Yes. All right, our esteemed guests and young female leaders, the time has come. The time has come. It is time for me to introduce to you a visionary leader. She is a powerhouse in the world of human rights. And she's not just a program manager, but a fierce advocate for bridging gaps between African Union organs and civil society. And if that wasn't enough, she's even penned chapters in published books dissecting the intricacies of coalition politics. With a passion for electoral reforms and a keen eye on governance, I'm telling you, she's like a superhero in the democracy in Africa. Young female leaders, it is not every day that we have the opportunity, that we have the privilege of introducing someone as accomplished as Ms. Bonolo Makale. Today, she's not just a speaker, she's a source of inspiration, knowledge, and empowerment. We eagerly await your words of wisdom, Ms. Makale. Welcome to the floor. Music, please, as she comes to the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. For a moment there, I wasn't sure if she was talking about me. Thank you so much for the generous introduction. My name is Bonolo. I want to give a bit of a background about my name before I get into my talk. So when I was 11 years old, I had a grandfather who loved me so much and loved spending time with me. Politicized me a lot. I learned a lot about African history through various conversations that I had with him. And we had a long conversation about, believe it or not, I was alive during apartheid. I just turned 40 in August. Yes. So we were having a conversation about apartheid and just how Black people, Black parents in South Africa were naming their children using Christian English names to make it easier for those that they're working for, right? So I was named Deborah, but I make it sound nice. If you are a Motswana here, you know it's not Deborah. It's Deborah. Oh, Deborah. So when I was 11 years old, that was my first political act of resistance. I decided to name myself Bonolo. So I called a family meeting and I said to them, so my name is Bonolo and you guys are gonna have to make it work. So when I went to do my identity document when I was doing matric, I then put Deborah as my second name and Bonolo as my first name. So people that I went to school with call me Deborah. And people that met me in varsity call me Bonolo. So every time I hear someone say Deborah, I'm like, whoa, that's not from my past. Very special thanks to my friend and my sister, Ms. Mary Zobo, for the invitation. It's also very good to see my dear sister from Kenya living in Uganda. So good to see you. Asante sana in our beautiful country. I also want to say merci beaucoup to Divine for putting this together, for your professionalism. Well done. And to the partners of this work, thank you. It is people like you who make this work possible. So we want to say thank you, as well as partners and friends of this movement. So I want to do three things. I want to share a story of a girl called Nomonde. And after sharing Nomonde's story, I want to talk about, I've been asked to talk about civic leadership and management. And Ms. Nikiwa did a great job in the past session where she located the body of her work in Africa and in the world, but also shared her own personal story. And because Ms. Nikiwa and I do similar work, I figured let me change my approach. So I want to talk about work being sacred as a second thing. And the third thing that I want to talk about is to reflect on the being versus the doing. So you develop yourself to be a leader in whichever sphere of life you are planning to go into, whether it's the one that I am part of, or whether it's business, or whatever that looks like. How do you develop yourself, the being of who you are, and ensuring that the doing comes out of the being? So most of you will know the history of South Africa, a country with a history of systemic racial discrimination and a culture of impunity. In a democratic South Africa, where political freedom was arguably achieved, what still lacks is economic freedom, right? And I want to share the story of Nomonde and locating it into the reality of a South Africa where the majority of Black people come from disadvantaged communities, poor communities. You would know, even stats shows that South Africa has the highest rate of inequality in the world. We have a lot of high rate of unemployment. So Nomonde is a girl from a small town in the Eastern Cape. She comes from a family where she was the middle child. She had a beautiful, charismatic sister, and she was the confused middle child, so she thought. And she had a younger sister that was dearly loved by her mother for reasons I'm not going to get into. Her mother had no formal education, and then she became a domestic worker. But her mother worked very hard for the three of them. So Nomonde at a very young age had a plan and a dream that she wants to be part of a people that will change Africa. She did not have the terminology of development, of transformation, democracy, because she went to school in the village where she was taught English in isiXhosa. Believe me or not, it's possible. So she had a dream and she wanted to take herself out of poverty. So when she finished matric, a year after her matric, she couldn't leave. You know, there was no money at home for her to go study. She spent a year at home figuring things out. A year later, her uncle gave her 600 Rand. And she got onto a bus and went to a little town in the Northwest province called Mafikeng. And she got there and she wanted to study. The only thing that she had was good matric results. She had no money. She had no plans. Walked in at university and said, look, I went to study law. They were like, you didn't apply, there's no space for law. She said, I went to study politics. You didn't apply, there's no space for that. So the only option that was left was for her to do theology. So she decided to study theology because there was also a bursary available for her to study theology. It was a 50% bursary to pay for her school fees, but she needed to pay for registration and she didn't have money for registration. Long story short, Nomonde starts doing little jobs here and there to fund herself. Eventually she graduates, after doing various jobs. Eventually she graduates. She then moves to Cape Town, starts working for Habitat for Humanity. And when she was 32 years old, she moves to Johannesburg because she decided that she wanted to study further. She moves to Joburg, goes to Wits University, and does 2 postgraduate studies, an honors in development studies and a master's in public policy. And she's currently doing her PhD in DPhil with a focus on coalition governments in South Africa. Nomonde works for the Center for Human Rights at the University of Pretoria. She established a unit at the law faculty of a university without a law degree. And that Nomonde is actually me. And I share the story because when I was a little girl, if you ever told me that I would do the work that I'm currently doing now, I would never have believed you. I always knew that I wanted to work on this continent. I always knew that I wanted to be part of a people that will change the course of this continent, but I had no idea how that was going to look like. And so I thought I should share this story to encourage you that indeed your dreams are valid. We are not making up things. This thing is possible. And I want to the work that I do. Anyone who knows me knows that I eat, I sleep, I breathe, and I walk human rights. I love the work that I do. I'm very passionate about the work that I do. People call me a democracy practitioner. I don't know how they got there, and I'm not complaining. As I mentioned that I established a unit at the Center for Human Rights at the University of Pretoria that does quite a lot of work with civil society organizations. And part of this is because I believe in this idea of closed spaces, invited spaces, and invented spaces. There are spaces that are closed for us. These spaces could be closed because we are women, because we are Black, because we are young, because we are poor, because of patriarchy. There could be so many reasons why spaces are closed for us. And if we don't acknowledge the fact that there are many spaces in the world around us that are closed, then we are not being honest with ourselves, right? And then there are spaces that are, I call invited spaces. And sometimes even in these spaces that we are invited into, we are invited, sometimes people mean well, sometimes we are invited as tokens, right? So they'll be like, yeah, at least there's one Black woman in the room. At least there are 3 young people in the room. But the 3 young people that are in the room are just in the room to make the room look good. No one is listening. No one is hearing. no one is paying attention, right? And I have this theory that I call the ethics of listening and the ethics of hearing and the ethics of seeing. And what we have seen in Africa in particular is that African leaders do not know how to practice this ethics of hearing, the ethics of seeing, and the ethics of feeling, right? And so these spaces, we are welcome into these spaces as tokens. We aren't part of the decision-making processes and so on and so forth. And then there are invented spaces. And this space that Ms. Mary Zobo has done is an invented space. When you realize that there's a gap and because there's a gap and there's something that we can do, we are going to invent a space for us. And I hope you guys are paying attention to this. I want us to, and I hope we'll keep in touch, right? In the next 20 years, when I'm 60 years old, I want you to come to my house and I want us to talk about this day. I'm going to repeat that. When I'm 60 years old, hopefully I'll still be alive. I want you guys to come to my house 20 years later, and we are going to talk about this moment right here. Because this moment right here is a historic moment. This moment right here is a powerful moment. This moment right here, we are building something powerful. And you know why we are here today? Because Miss Mary and her team and all of us, we believe that this work is sacred. Miss Mary can tell you that when she started this, she had no idea where she was going to get the money from. When I started my unit at the Center for Human Rights, I had no idea where I was going to get the money from. And what kept me awake at night and writing funding proposals and calling people and emailing people is because I believe that this work is sacred and this work is a calling. And as you decide on what you want to do for yourself, as you decide how you want to pursue your dreams, do have a great conviction about what you want to do. We have very grumpy, toxic managers in the workplace because people are doing the work for the money, not as a calling. I want to see you as leaders of today, and I want to see and hear of you in the future that you are compassionate managers, that you are compassionate leaders, and you are leaders with empathy. And you can only be able to do that when you have a strong conviction that you are called to be the change in the world around you. The thing about agency is that, and right now as Africans, we can all agree that democracy in Africa is not working for us. I don't know if you guys have read the report by Amnesty International, not Amnesty International, Afrobarometer, that documents the voices of young Africans, that young Africans are struggling with the state of democracy in Africa. There's a lot of democratic disillusionment, there's a lot of political dissatisfaction, right? And it's for us to now have a sense of agency. And agency is not something that someone bequeathed to you. Agency is something that you claim for yourself. And I don't want to romanticize this. I recognize that we live in a world with structural inequalities and injustice, right? But we are going to find creative ways to claim the agency and not wait for somebody to bequeath it to us. And again, I'm going to use Miss Mary as an example. She claimed the space for herself and did not wait for anyone to do that. Let us learn from her. And I want to land at this, and I want to land at this for two reasons. And one of the reasons why I want to land here is because, as I mentioned, that there's a lot of democratic disillusionment on the continent. We see a lot of human rights violations, right? Currently, Goma is burning, the DRT is burning. Young Black girls are going to bed without food. There's gender-based violence. There's child marriage. We can lament and lament. That's our reality. And we find ourselves in this reality while we have the African Union that has these beautiful ideas and aspirations and dreams of what they want to see, throwing slogans like the Africa we want to see, right? And they are there in beautiful documents. Some of them are collecting dust in their defense. Some of them are not. I must be nice. I work with them. But we can all agree that our leaders have failed us. And one of the things that I think about, and this is something that we don't talk about in the workplace, that we don't talk about in spaces like this, is this idea of focusing in the human. Right? We are celebrating 75 years of the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights. And the preamble of the declaration actually speaks of ensuring dignity and peace for all. And it says for all members of the human family. What it does is that it locates the human being at the epicenter of social order. And this idea that I want to leave you with of the being versus the doing is that our leaders are failing us because they have not actually resolved part of the being where we develop ourselves as leaders of integrity, as leaders that have compassion, as leaders that have empathy, as leaders who actually want to make the difference. And therefore, we spend a lot of time focusing on the doing, and the doing is important. I want to hear that you guys got your degrees. I want to hear that you collected awards. I want to hear that you are doing great. But if the work that you do does not come from the core of who you are, you will achieve all these amazing things that can be achieved in the world, but you will be a horrible human being. And we live in a brutal world because it is human beings who are making the world that we live in brutally. We have systems of injustice, and those systems have been put in place by human beings. So I want you guys to think about this idea of the being versus the doing. But when you do that, as you develop yourself, I say this to people that I don't go to therapy because, so I don't wait for me to have a crisis for me to go to therapy. I see my therapist once a month. And it costs me money, but you know why I do that? I do that, one, because it's a gift to myself. But also I do that because I actually want to be a better person, right? So when I go sit down with my therapist for an hour and she listens to me talk about all sorts of crazy things that I go through in life, it's a gift that I offer myself, but it's a gift that I'm offering to the world around me. And I get that not everyone can afford therapy. And this is something that Ms. Nikki spoke about earlier, that we must belong to a community of love. We must belong to people that can speak into our lives. If we want to change this world, we must be accountable to somebody. Sometimes I get out of order and my friends are able to say to me, that's not how we do things. That's not how we talk. So I want you to think about, as you're going to pursue your dreams that are indeed valid, do not forget yourself, because for those dreams to be realized, only you can realize that dream, and we don't want you to be a horrible human being. And I want to say this as I conclude, that you see, life is beautiful, but also life is complex, and it confronts us with these seeming contradictions that leave us perplexed and leave others inspired. So we are here, we've been happy, we had a good meal together, we were dancing, but there's another Black girl somewhere who's probably mourning the loss of her mother. There's another Black girl somewhere in the world who's probably in a forced marriage. There's a Black girl somewhere right now who's probably being sexually violated. And there's a Black girl somewhere who's getting married and she's happy. And there's a Black girl somewhere who's probably graduating next week. And then there's another Black girl who can't graduate because they have not paid off their school fees. Life is beautiful, but it's equally complex, and it confronts us with these seeming contradictions, right? And what I want to say to you is that with the complexities of this world, dance to the rhythm of life. Just keep dancing. Just keep dancing. And as you dance as well, embrace the contradictions of, you know, how paradoxical life is. Just allow yourself to be flexible. In my other life, I used to be a pastor. And there's a verse in the Bible that I kind of changed a bit. And I always said, blessed are the flexible, for they will never get weary. You see, guys, the things that I've been through in my life, If I did not learn the art of flexibility, if I did not learn the art of dancing to the rhythm of life, if I did not learn the art of vulnerability, we must disabuse ourselves from this idea of being strong Black women. Please disabuse yourself from that idea because it burdens you. Can we be soft? Because also, if we keep reaffirming this idea of a strong Black woman, we are telling the system that please abuse us, we want, we have the power to be abused. Please, I'm not Mbokoto, I am soft, touch me nicely. Learn to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is actually a powerful act of courage. So as you are confronted with the contradictions of this life, dance to the rhythm of life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pontle, for those amazing, wonderful words. I hope you guys are inspired as I am. Indeed, we have to dance to the rhythm of life, no matter what we go through or where we are or when things will happen to us. So, Ms. Bontle, sorry, Ms. Bonolo, thank you so much for those kind words. Yeah, she is beautiful, isn't she? So what I want to know is, I believe civic leadership and management is now playing vital roles, especially in our communities. So exploring the intersection of civic leadership and effective management, how can leaders like you inspire positive change while navigating the challenges of organizational efficiency and public service? Yes, we can start with mine and then I'll ask. Oh. And if you have questions from those who are joining us virtually, you can please write them in the chat boxes, and I'll also need 3 more from the people who are physically here with us. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Khadija Tubari from Sierra Leone. So since yesterday, I've been hearing this from the speakers that we really need to be soft. And mom here was lucky since she was a child. Her mom was able to help her to be soft. But looking at society, the world itself, like you said, it's bitter and it's sweet. But the bitterness is so harsh on us as women, just that I am a woman. It's enough for people to just assume things and just do whatever they want about me without asking or caring. How can I be soft when life is so not sweet, so hard? And it could be even starting from your own family. How can I be soft? How do I go soft? I'm a feminist, so I understand that we will want to be softened, but how do we navigate? Because femininity, I believe in it, makes me, yeah, but how do we go softer on these systems, patriarchal systems and all, so they'll know that, yes, our voices are still stronger?
My name is Awonke and I'm from South Africa. I have a very important question for you. Your story about Nomonde was very inspiring, by the way. How would you advise a young girl or someone who's not really old enough to make life-altering decisions for themselves? Let's say like they want to take a risk, but then they have those what if thoughts. What if it doesn't work out? What if I should just take the safer option, the one that my parents are suggesting to me because I know it'll put me in a safe zone? But how would you advise them to get out of that comfort zone and take that risk? Because it could be something very beautiful in the end, or it could become very ugly. Yeah, how do you escape those negative thoughts?
And one more question from that side, please.
Hello, everybody. I'm Salma from Kenya. I have a question. we understand there are a lot of opportunities, but there is Salma and many others here, many more others who don't know how to take these opportunities. Okay, you can hear somebody is a minister, someone has taken space like yeah, like civic leadership, but we don't know how to get there. I actually don't know how to get there. How do I connect for me to be a civic leader? How do I connect for me to be that person that I see you are in? I mean, the steps. Or is it connection?
Thank you so much. Grace, do we have some questions from our virtual participants?
There's one question that relates to the question by Kadijatu. How do you navigate being soft in your field and embracing your femininity as a leader? How do you embrace a feminism? How does one become confident and outspoken? The two questions are similar, so I would say there are two questions. Yeah. How does one become confident and outspoken? Then the two are all on feminism and navigating being soft as a leader.
Okay, for the case of time, one more question from.
Hi, everyone. My name is Esiche Dube, and I'm from South Africa. After the break, my mates here, my sisters here were talking about how I'm shy when it comes to like speaking, public speaking, and one of them encouraged me to ask a question. And this is not a question though, it's sort of a closing statement from the questions that were asked. I just want to thank Miss Mary and her team for organizing such an event, and thank the speakers for showing up. Miss Bunolo here happens to be my mentor, and she has held an open space for me. So I hope that you continue organizing such impactful events for the benefit of young girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Bonolo, the floor is yours for answering the questions asked.
Thank you. Is it on?
So there's this idea that two things can't be true at the same time, and we must get over that. When we talk about being soft, we're not saying allow people to walk all over you. Two things can be true at the same time. So when I was speaking about this idea of disabusing ourselves from being called strong Black women, you'd remember I then spoke about the fact that embracing vulnerability is another form of power and courage. So if you have encountered me in the workplace, you would know that I hold the idea of being gentle and kind to my team and soft to my team, and I work hard to be a nice human being because sometimes it really is hard. Somebody once said that perfect is an enemy of good, and we must really allow ourselves to be imperfect, right? So sometimes I don't get it right, but I try. And I also work in a space where women are sexually objectified. I just came back from a trip. I got home last night, and I can tell you every night I had about 3 or 4 men texting me in the middle of the night, "Hi dear, why are you daring me at 12 midnight? We both know where you want this idea to land," right? And it doesn't matter how powerful and strong we are. Unfortunately, in the world that we live around us, they will still objectify us, there will still be patriarchy and whatnot. But do not let the brutalities of this world take away your humanity. Don't do that. So if you know me personally, you would know that people who know me personally know this about me. My one friend always says I'm schizophrenic because in the workplace, sometimes I can be very hard because the world calls that of me because unfortunately the injustice systems that are placed there in this world, whether in the workplace or in society, in politics, you know, women have to keep proving themselves. As I said earlier that I just turned 40, in my family, I'm the third oldest grandchild, unmarried, without a husband. Not that so when they've got decisions to make, no one invites me. They don't invite me because why would they invite someone who's unmarried and doesn't have a child? They invite my younger cousins. Not that I mind, actually, I don't want that responsibility on me. But I'm not invited to these decision-making processes because I'm unmarried and I don't have a child. And I decided that it's okay and I'm not going to be bitter towards my family because I actually don't mind not being married and not having a child. Okay, I might not be married, but that's not the point. So the point I want to make for you is that when a moment calls for you to be a strong woman, respond to that moment. But in your entire life, pursue being a soft, kind person. It is only good people that will change this world. Bitter and toxic people won't change the world around us. And the question that you've asked, I didn't get your name. Awange. So it's a risky one. When I left home with the 600 rand that my uncle gave me, I actually had no idea where it was going to land. And this is something that I wasn't planning to share. But part of the work I did when I was a student was to clean white people's houses and to babysit. In fact, one of the girls I babysat is currently doing her master's in public policy at London School of Economics. So she said her last on Instagram, she's like, my favorite babysitter, you know, I was just like, oh my gosh, you're taking me back to poverty. It was risky. Sometimes spend time researching things, make informed decisions. Make informed decisions, but also speak to people around you. As I said, we really need to be careful not to fall in the trap of individualism. You need people to speak into your life. There are decisions that I make in life that I will not make without consulting. I've got a cohort of 5 people. And this cohort of 5 people, every single decision that is important that I have to take, I'll consult this 5 cohort of people. And if they say, I will sit with it for a while. So research, make a well-informed decision, speak to your community. But look, if it fails, then what? It's okay. It's not the end of the world. You can try again tomorrow, right? We must be okay with relinquishing. You're not giving up. You are giving over, right? If it doesn't work, it didn't work, it doesn't work, you can try again tomorrow. But I'm not saying go be reckless, right? Don't just live here and be like, oh, I'm going to Cape Town, and then you get to Cape Town, now you're homeless, now we must now figure out how to host you. Don't do that. So make well-informed decisions, do your research, find out who's where, who can help you. You know, identify people in your area that have done the work that you want to do. You know, do the hard work. It requires hard work. And then there's a question about connections. How do we get there? Look, guys, I don't trust any leader that does not have a mentor. I don't care who you are. In July, I went to President Thabo Mbeki's birthday party. And as we walked around the room, there were pictures of quotes that he had said over the years. And one of the things that he said was he enjoyed having a glass of whiskey with one of his friends to ask them how to be a better president. So when he found out that he was going to become the president, he had to sit around the table with his people to say, how do we do this? I do not trust any leader that does not have a mentor. And I have been able to be where I am and to do the things I do because I made the effort of identifying mentors. To be honest, this job that I'm doing is probably the only, two jobs that I've only applied for. And this is not corruption. It is somebody saying, hey, I know this girl who does this, right? And then they're like, hey, send your CV. And I sent my CV and then people interviewed me. So don't be shy, put yourself out there, right? Don't be shy to say, here's my CV. Don't be shy to say, hey, I'm very good at this. Esitle literally inboxed me on LinkedIn and said, my name is Esitle. I'm doing a master's at UP. I've been following your work. Can you be my mentor? I met up with her in my office, and now she's not even just a mentee to me. She's like a little sister to me. And when this event came up, I gave my sister a call and I said, hey, and this is what we do, guys. We call our people to say, there's this brilliant young person. You see, the difference with corruption is that with corrupt leaders, they will put an incompetent person in place. That's the difference. But what we saying, we have young people who are confident, who are powerful, who are intelligent, who are educated, who can do this work and do it well. But please also don't embarrass us. When we give people your names, please, guys, I beg. Because now people are going to be calling us and say, hey, Bonolo, but no, Buntle, what is that? Right? So to answer your question, speak to people around you, find a mentor, find people who connect you. Even in where I am at work, I still have people who connect me to things, right? And about confidence, me, I don't know, guys, because unfortunately I was always a very loud, confident girl. So I don't know how to reflect on that. I suppose I could say that I've always known that God has given me a gift of a voice. And there are things I don't do. I stick to what I know. And what I know is speaking, right? And there are certain things I don't get involved in because I know I'm not good at them. So perhaps also harness that very thing that you know you have to offer to the world. That very thing, spend time in delivering it and harnessing it. My darling, I honestly forgot your question. I've been trying to remember it and I'm struggling.
It's okay, Ms. Bonol, I get it. But my question was, because I believe that civic leadership and management plays vital roles in shaping our communities, all I want to know is how, exploring the intersection of civic leadership, how can leaders like you inspire positive change while navigating the challenges of organizational efficiency and public service?
So there's a thing that Bell Hooks says. She talks about this idea of love, and she says love is profoundly political, and our understanding of how political love is, that's where our revolution will come from. And I'm intentionally not giving you an academic answer because I think there's a place for it, and I don't think now at this time on a Saturday it's a place for it, right? But I want to say this, guys. We must love each other. Love is that important fabric that will help us to change this continent. Everything is political, even love itself is political. And so when we love each other as a people, we must remember that our revolution will come out of that political act of love. Let's love each other, and that's how we will change the world. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. I just can't get enough. I surely cannot get enough. Thank you so much, Ms. Bonolo, for those wonderful answers, wonderful inspirational words for us, and we are truly honored for your presence. Before you go back to sit, I want to teach you guys a Tanzanian way of how to appreciate someone like Ms. Bonolo. So it goes like this. I'm going to use two Swahili words, Pasha and Choma. Have you guys ever heard of it? So Pasha is rubbing your hands. You just rub them till they're warm. You just rub them, you rub them. And when I say Choma, I'll say Choma 3 times. The first Choma you clap once, Second choma, you clap once again. The third choma, 1, 2, 3. You got it? Yes. Okay, so let's Pasha. Let's Pasha for our Miss Bonolo, please. Pasha, Pasha. Yes, because she deserves more than what she just gave us today. Pasha. Pasha. I want to see everybody Pasha, even those who are joining us virtually. I want you guys to comment on the chat boxes and Pasha and Choma. So Choma, Choma, Choma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Bonolo, for this wonderful encouragement. This is a small token for us from TheALI. We appreciate it. 1, 2. Do you always switch it off? My mic off all the time. 1, 2. 1, 2. Are we good? Yes, we are. Before we move our flags, I know our flag wavers are excited. Can you hear me? It seems rather low. But I'm going to carry on speaking and try to project. Thank you so much for that, Ms. Bonolo. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, for sharing your pearls of knowledge with us. And an additional point of gratitude is for you for inviting 13 girls to the Pan-African Parliament during their session, and also 2 of our girls to the Democracy and Governance Summit this year. We thank you. Round of applause. All right, Ms. Bonolo taught me that I am Alma and I'm good at what I do. Thank you, period. All right, we are going to change. We're going to do a little bit of changing around with the program, but stay with me. I'm going to use this opportunity for us to jump to the vote of thanks. And so our vote of thanks is going to be done by the lady of the hour, if I can say, of the year, of the century, of forever, if we can call it that. It is our very own founder and executive director of the Amazon Leadership Initiative, an international human rights lawyer, a gender equity advocate and governance expert, a 2023 Archbishop Desmond Tutu Leadership Fellow, and a 2023 alumni of the International Visitors Leadership Program at the United States, and so much more. Can we stand up as we give Ms. Zoe Young female leaders, I'm back again. I just want to make sure all of the associates are in the room and online before I start. Are all of the associates here? Divine, Mary, Caucus leaders, are everyone in here? Yes, okay. So this is my vote of thanks. Every good thing must come to an end. But we do hope that this is not the end, but the beginning. A beginning of a new journey for each and every one of us here as we go around to change the world and keep igniting the fire and the fight against gender inequality in Africa and globally. You will all agree with me that this past 2 days have been electrifying, amazing. It has been, I don't know what other words, but I will leave you with the words that you're going to leave here with. You have all laughed, you have learned, you have danced, you've eaten 5 times a day. You've made new friends, but also you've made mentors and female luminaries. And I'd first like to thank all of the young female leaders in this room. So a round of applause for all of yourselves. And today there are 23 countries represented here, and I know you've all been waiting to wave your flags. Yeah. So I'm gonna first start by saying, one of the countries represented here is Tunisia. Where's the Tunisian? Where's your flag? Why are you not raising your flag? But yes, there's Tunisian in the room. There is a Gambian. Where's the Gambian? Where's Lena?
There's also Mozambique. Annabella? Yeah! Yes! The Zambians in the room, where are you? The Nigerians, where are they? The Ghanaians. Sierra Leone? You have to stand up. Botswana! Mauritius! Zimbabwe! South Sudan! Okay. South Africa! Finish early so that you have at least 30 minutes before your boss comes to really rock it. Because at least at the end of every meeting, there's always joy. And I'm glad to see the joy in the room, but we're not done. Central African Republic. Namibia. Equatorial Guinea. Where's she? And last but not the least, I even know her by her name. Mali. Western Malian. Where is Chari? Ami Chari. That's her. So it's interesting and amazing that in this room of 120 young female leaders, we have 23 countries represented here, and that's almost half of the continent. Online, we have so many, and it's just amazing how the past few days have been. You've engaged, you have absorbed all of the knowledge, and for that, once again, a round of applause for yourselves. I would like to thank the associates. Without them, we would not be here today. And so I'd like to first call on Divine. When I call you, please come on the stage. Divine! As you know, as associates, we love to do words of affirmation. So today I'm going to affirm you, divine. You are divine, like I always say. You're the only associate in South Africa, but you've ensured that you sat in every meeting with every donors, with every partners, with every collaborators. You've never missed anyone. In spite of all of the challenges, you've stood tall. And I want to say thank you so much. And we all in this room, thank you today for all of the organization, for the planning, for every single thing. Thank you for your service, Divine. Thank you. And this is just to say that as associates, they do not receive any form of income, like the board members have said. They do all of this from the abundance of their hearts. They do it because of the passion and the belief that one day we will eventually, hopefully, maybe not our lifetime, alleviate gender inequality. So Divine, thank you so much. The next associate is Nurat. Please spotlight her. She was our very first associate, and I call her the dynamite. She's very small, but she's mighty. I call her the social media queen. From leading the team from the day one to the social media space. So anything you see social media, anything is Nurat. How she manages from the Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn to I don't know how she does it, to leading the team effortlessly. Nurat, you have shown strength. I wish I can see you right now because I know the smile you would have on your face, which I always imagine every time. But I want to say thank you for your service. Next person, Mary Ukoli. Ideally, I would call her the principal. She's the organizer-in-chief. She's the admin queen. She sorts everyone out and she puts me also in my place when I go over. From setting the meetings to ensuring smooth operation of TheALI, you've also shown strength. I'm proud of you and thank you. Thank you for your service. The next person, Exilda! So all of you sitting in this room today is because of Exilda. I call her the methodological marshal. Why? Is because the database of all of the girls, I think we're spanning now into 25,000 emails from 2021 till now. She's kept all of them. She knows all of you by your names. The selection process was done by her. So, and so whenever anybody comes to me to say, please look for someone in this region, it's Nurat and her, because she just knows the countries, she knows how many countries represented, and it's amazing to see. Exuda, thank you for your service. And I'm proud of you. Lina! Lina is the people's person. Lina will help you. You would forget your son and give her all your accounts. Lina helps, and to all the young people in this room, I'm sure they even call her Auntie Lina. She catches them when they're about to sneak out of their rooms. I don't know how she does it, but thank you so much, Lina, for your service. Thank you. We're very proud of you. And next, if you notice, she's been I just want to say thank you for your service. All of the technical glitches that we would have had, she foresaw them. She told us how it should, yes. So the organization is not just me, it's them. Each and every person you see here who work tirelessly from dusk to dawn. Like I always do, we wake up in the morning, 4 a.m., we don't have closing hours or opening hours. It's from when we wake up to when we go to bed. The next person is Grace. Minister. Grace likes money. Grace always wants to know how much are we making or how much have we received. Miss Mary, how much have we received? So tell you that the award that you see there, it was Grace. She applied, she believed in it. Even when I was like, how are you sure we're going to win? She's like, let us just go. We're going to win. She even prepared a speech, a thank you speech. And she went there when she went to Kenya. It was in Kenya. And I'm at home and I get an email from the Minister of Information in Zambia, who's the youngest one. She spoke at our last event. She was yes, Emma Theophilus. See, I even forget names, they remember. From Namibia, yes. So she sent me a message and said, we're so proud of you and the award. And I'm like, what award? And then she sends me the link and I see Grace giving a thank you speech. I'm like, you know, and yes, so we received $2,000. The girls agreed to put it there and we're going to be using it for next year's International Women's Day event. So stay tuned for that. But I feel like, I call her Awula. That likes to work behind the scene. She doesn't like right now. I feel like she just wants the ground to open and swallow her. But she's in charge of everything that has to do with the admin process of TheALI. And for that, I want to say thank you. And to Obani, to Maria, to Amina, some of these young female leaders who could not join us because of exams, taking a year off just to do personal stuff. I just want to say thank you for your service. And I just want you all to just a round of applause for this amazing work. I would like to thank the caucus leaders. I'll start by the Western African caucus. Kajatu, and Jacinta. So the Kajatu from Syria, the Jacinta from Ghana. And these three have held the group together. It's amazing how we had their first elections and these three were campaigning so hard. I think they were different people, but they emerged the leaders, vice president, president, and secretary general. And they still need to cry. It's voluntary, they do not get paid, but they manage the team of, I think it's a group of about 800, I don't know how they do it, keeping everyone in check, sending emails, sending everything. And I think for them, it's a lot of commitment, it's a lot of passion, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you. The South African Sarah. So, Bartley, as you know, she was our host yesterday, but she's the president of the Southern African Caucus. So, the Southern Africa, all the countries in Southern Africa, here is your president. The two of them could not be here because some of them do not have, due to some reasons, but I just want to say thank you to them. And to Rebecca, Peace, they were online, due to some reasons they couldn't make it. But they did organize a viewing center of about 22 young female leaders. And so I want to say to them, thank you, because even though they were not here, they still managed. To Norman, I want to say thank you. I see she's not here. To the host, Bartley, Elma, words cannot express how amazing you both have been. You've put us in your bus and you've driven us to, I don't know, sometimes we had a lot of going at 220, 200, 300. Like, woo, it was a lot, but thank you. To the facilitators, Rachel, Bettina, Lisa, Muriel, Emily, Chidima, Lamia, Charity, Liketso, Thank you. It's been a lot of practice. I think about 3 months of practice. A round of applause for yourselves. Every Tuesday, 7:30, you all gather, practice and practice. To the speakers, Miss Fatu, Miss Melissa, Miss Elisa, Miss Ethel, Miss Jackie, Miss Pearl, Miss Jackson, Harold, Square Hayata, Itumele, Nikki Wade, Bonolo. I just want to say thank you to all of the speakers. Please a round of applause for them. Crystal, Ashland, Northlantla, Professor Karen, Mr. Hassan, I just want to say thank you. Please a round of applause for them. The reason why I decided to give this speech before Sophia, I wanted her to, on the agenda, it was her first. But I think that we just want to thank GIZ. The reason why we're all seated in this room today, having accommodation, breakfast, lunch, dinner, flight tickets, shuttle, picking you up from the airport. I see all of you taking pictures of your names at the airport, you're driving bags. 90% of you, this is your first time out of the country. And the branding, I don't know, just name everything, the water, the snacks, the 5 meals a day, is thanks to GIZ. But one woman sat with me sometime in Divine, what month was that? Yeah, I think not beginning, I think it was like May, June. And I spoke to her and she believed in the dream. And that is why we're all seated here today. And I would like us to just stand up and a round of applause for Sophia. She doesn't like it. She does not like it, but please, we have to give her flowers. We have to give her flowers. So thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you for believing in the dream of young women and girls, 14 to 29 Africa. Thank you. I feel like if she goes out with me, she's gonna be like, Mary, why did you do that? Because she doesn't like the spotlight, but one thing I know Northlanta taught us yesterday is to give people their flowers. And Sophia, we want to give you your flowers while you're here, and we want to say thank you. Thank you for everything. We really do appreciate it. Chijoke is not here. Chijoke was the middleman, made sure our tickets were bought, make sure called us out where we needed to be called out. But the reason why all of this organization and all of this, everything, all of your tickets being received on time, venue, sourcing, everything was thanks to Chidioke. So I'd like you all to please just clap your hands. He's not here now, but hopefully he feels the clap wherever he is. She's also not here, but I'm happy to give a round of applause for her. And to our partners, Cinesky ensured that all of the visa fees for those who paid visa fees would be paid. So again, a round of applause for Cinesky. And Zizipo is not here, but Zizipo works for the ANU, so we also want to thank her. She just made sure, everything was seamless. When some things were just not going right, she made sure to go right. So please a round of applause for Zizipo. Please give her and say thank you. Because what we do is we appreciate people and we give them their flowers. We want to thank Paul and the team. The whole photography. So Paul and the team, we want to thank you. You were so professional. You even did a drive with us, I think, for hours. I could see you guys were tired, but thank you for being patient with the girls. Thank you for understanding that this is just more than an initiative for the passion. So thank you. To EZ Shuttle, they're not here, but they made sure all of you arrived safely, had the banners. Some looked grumpy, some looked happy. As you saw in the picture, why is he angry? He's not angry, he just had the banner up. But we just want to say thank you to EZ Shuttle. And this is where I would tap out. If I had the microphone, I would drop it and say Obama out. But I just want to say thank you. And please do not let the fire stop here. All of the notes that you've taken from the speakers, the networking, everything, your friends, your newfound friends. I know some people are saying to me, oh, I'm so happy with my friend. I wish we could stay here forever, but unfortunately not. But once again, I just want to say thank you to everyone and those who maybe I did not mention. Thank you, and a round of applause for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Miss Mary. And words cannot express how grateful we are to you. And so I won't be the one to say those words. I'll leave it for a bit later. But please help me welcome, as Miss Mary mentioned, our main sponsor, the reason why we are here, the reason why we got on flights for the first time, the GIZ. So we've got Miss Sophia Galina, who is the head of the GIZ Aware Project, heading a project on human rights and women empowerment, and working with the African Union Commission as well. Can we give her a round of applause?
Thank you very much. I think, yes, Mary, I didn't enjoy that. But I do appreciate it. Thank you. Actually, it was Rizan. Rizan, one of my colleagues, said to me, Sophia, you need to meet Mary when you're in Pretoria and you need to listen to her story. And so I did. I do what she tells me. So I met with Mary and Divine, and they were very inspirational, and you could immediately sense that it wasn't just, as you say, an initiative, that there was a lot of heart in it. And Mary explained from the beginning how it all started and the journey, and it was almost incredible to listen to, and it's been incredible to be able to witness it and to be here with you. And a big thank you goes to obviously Mary, Divine, all the associates, all of you in all the regions that hold the space. But primarily, and the board and everyone who dedicates their time to this. But I think it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you. It wouldn't happen if you didn't show up. And because you show up, Mary heard you. And because you show up, she managed to gather more people to come and support. And because you show up, she convinced me that we should support this. And so the biggest thank yous to yourselves. So I think you should give yourselves a big applause for showing up. And it's not easy sometimes, and it means sacrifice and discomfort at times, but it's always worth it. And I'm glad I came. I'm glad I was able to be with you for the last 2 days, for most of the last 2 days. And I'm very grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to all the speakers. I was taking notes. I feel mentored as much as you have been. Perhaps just a few words. I think in general, there is no blueprint for leadership. There's no magic potion. There are no special ingredients or special recipe that makes it work. And every generation has a different reality to deal with. We've heard, I think, about 3 different generations speak to you over the last 2 days. And you will have a different story to tell your children later, or the young women that come after you, to the one we've told you. But there are some things that remain. I'm raising 2 girls myself, 14 and 18. Sometimes I feel I'm pretending to be the adult in the relationship. I'm learning from them as much as about their world, as much as I learn about myself as I speak to them and realize how much more conservative I am than I thought I was. Much more like my parents than I would have liked to be. But the learning doesn't end. And what I would encourage you to do is remain curious, remain open. I think the word kind was used several times. And kindness will help you to remain curious, because you always look for the person that's in front of you, who they are, what they have to offer to you, and what you have to offer to them. So please keep that. Always, always keep an open heart. Don't be judgmental, be compassionate. Everyone is trying to make it work the best way they can. They mess up sometimes, but in general, everyone is fundamentally good. So keep an open heart to everyone. And I think in my journey, what I noticed was we're limited by our imagination and our experiences. So we have a plan and we have an idea. I want to be a designer, a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher. There's all sorts of ideas that we have, an entrepreneur. And then it's good to have that vision for it to guide you. But I think Bonolo spoke to it. Be willing to change, be willing to hold complexity. And what I found is often when the plan didn't go the way I would have wanted it to be, it actually went better. And I hadn't seen that a different path was actually a better path. And so I studied psychology, but I never practiced it. I'm now in development cooperation. I have to say it does help to do psychology to get through life in general. But be willing to realize that perhaps this fantastic plan you had in your mind might still be fantastic, but the route is different. You might be taken down a very scenic route, a longer one, or that maybe the destination is not what you thought it would be. But embrace it. Change is not always bad. It's scary, it's uncomfortable, but it can be very good as well. So keep an open mind. One of the girls, I can't remember, you asked something about, I think from Kenya, about pretty much asking about nepotism. Is it about who you know? To some extent. And I think the answer given was about that as well. So speak out, let people know what it is you're looking for, and somebody's listening. And to me, I've never been somebody that wanted to be on center stage. I'm not somebody who likes to speak in public, hence Mary's comment. But what I did notice, a lot of opportunities I got was that somebody took the time to listen to what I had to say when I didn't even realize they were listening. And so just tell your story, with whichever volume you want to tell it at, on a big stage, shouting out, or in a private conversation with someone that might be able to connect you to the right people. Often it's luck, it's being in the right place at the right time, speaking to the right people, or coming across in a way that makes people want to tell your story to a third person who then says, didn't you mention that girl Nikiwa the other day? I'd really like to meet her. Perhaps there's an internship we can offer. So it's rich. It seems difficult, but there's a lot of different places where you can get opportunities from. And my last point is we have a lot of stereotypes about what a leader should look like. Please let it go. They come in different shapes and sizes. They come out loud. They come out quiet. They come out shy and timid. And for those of you in the room that are shy and timid, it does not mean you cannot be a leader. Absolutely not. We need people of every kind, every character, every trait. Everybody's needed. So please believe in yourself. Please believe that who you are and what you are is enough. And just find where you need to channel your energy, speak to the right people, be kind, and keep talking to each other. Bring more people on board, more girls come on board, and keep exchanging. Thank you very much, Mary and Divine. My first entry point to the Amazon Leadership Initiative, TheALI. Been told by Mary I have to call it that. And thank you to all of you for being willing to have me with you today and allowing us to be part of your journey, at least this step. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity. All the best to you all.
Thank you so much for that, Miss Sophia, for those wise words. We really do appreciate it. And your commitment to not just saying you will support, but supporting as well. We do appreciate it. All right, we've got 2 more items on the program, and then we will be allowing the DJ to flourish, because he's been trying to flourish throughout the event. So we'll give him that opportunity. But before we do, I've got good news for those who are online who feel like we've forgotten about them. We haven't. We've got some winners from the participation today. Winners from the chat box, winners from Facebook, and winners from Twitter. So I'm going to say your names or your handles. Please send us, so when I say us, do you want them to send you an email? Yes, please send us an email. The email address has been used before. You'll see it on the chat box very soon. But these are the 3 winners. Send us an email with your full name, your country, and your contact details, because we need to use shipping services so that we can send you your gift. Okay. All right. So the winner from the chat box is Millicent Jerusha. Let's just give her a round of applause. Let's go, Millicent. Our on Facebook is Esther Sitamulapo. Let's give Esther a round of applause. And our Twitter winner is Unique Lady at ENG Nagaba. Let's give a round of applause as well. Wonderful stuff. Okay, so now we're going to have our call to action. What is a call to action? We've listened to the discussions today. We've written down notes. We're excited. We're happy. How are we going to implement this into our daily lives? And that is going to be led by none other than, I've left half of my 2 seconds. It's that exciting. I left my pages. All right, let's try that again. So our call to action is going to be done by a 17-year-old young lady, Diketso Mahlasela. And Diketso is still in high school because she's just 17, and she has shown exceptional leadership abilities through her participation in TheALI. She's inspired by the change that women bring to our generation, and her quote is that nothing is impossible if you set your mind to it. So Diketso, please join me on stage as we
Thank you, Alma, for that wonderful introduction. Distinguished guests and speakers, young female leaders, both in person and online. The first day of our forum reminded us that, as young Black women in Africa, we stand at a pivotal moment in history, one where our collective efforts can shape a brighter future for young women and girls throughout the continent. To bring about this transformation, we call upon all African governments to advocate for equality, to provide spaces that will allow young women and girls to use their voice and influence to raise awareness about the importance of gender equality, to speak out against discrimination and bias wherever we encounter, be it economically or politically, to strongly advocate for policies and legislation that promote gender equality, address gender-based violence, and ensure equal opportunities for young women and girls in all sectors of society. We call upon African society organizations to refine their support towards initiatives that provide education and vocational training for young women and girls, particularly in underserved communities. Education is the cornerstone of empowerment. We urge the older generation of African women leaders to take their place as mentors and role models, to provide opportunities for young women and girls to connect with positive role models. Your guidance can make a profound difference in their lives. We urge financial institutions to invest in programs that promote financial literacy and entrepreneurship among young Black women, because economic independence is a key driver of empowerment. Additionally, we urge them to contribute financially to organizations and initiatives that are dedicated to empowering young women and girls. Your financial support can make tangible change. And finally, we urge all young women and girls to work together tirelessly to create a world where young women and girls are not held back by societal constraints, but are empowered to create reach for their fullest potential. Our collective actions today will shape a more inclusive and equitable tomorrow. Together, we can create a brighter and more promising future for all. Black child, your dreams are truly valid. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Diketso. 17 years old. We've got a bright future ahead of us. All right, now we are going to do the Ali pledge, which I'm sure some of you did yesterday, yes? Do you know it off by heart? Okay. You'll learn. The Ali Pledge is going to be led by Peace, who is in Uganda. As you know, Peace is a 23-year-old, the president of the Central, Eastern, Northern, and Diaspora Caucus of the Pan-African Network of Young Female Leaders. And in her role as president, she leads and inspires an incredible team of like-minded young female leaders. So we're going to head over to Uganda and say hi to Peace. Peace, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, very energetically we can. Let's give Peace a round of applause. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Alma, for that beautiful introduction. Here in Uganda, we are so excited. You guys. Yes, I know we have learned a lot of amazing things, and to help us to consolidate all of those things that we have learned, we are going to say the pledge statement. I request all of you to stand. Let's get to our feet. So as we say these words, we need to say them with a lot of boldness and a lot of energy. Are you ready? Yeah. So I'm going to read the words and then you say them back. Are we ready? Yeah. If you're ready, just do this. Peace. People physically, we can't see your thumbs. Are you ready?
Oh, thumbs.
Okay. So let's go. With the sorry. I will read and then you repeat after me. Okay. With the young female leaders of the Amazon Leadership Initiative, we pledge to do our best to champion gender equality as a fundamental human right and a catalyst for societal progress. Empower women and girls through education, mentorship, and sharing opportunities. Foster inclusive leadership by valuing diverse voices in decision-making processes. To lead by example. And together to create a more equitable world for women and girls. Where gender equality is a thing of the past. I am an Amazon. I am confident in myself and my unique abilities. I will never at any time despise my worth. Talent and potential. I'm a leader. An impactful voice. A positive role model. And a great example. I do things that have a meaning and make a difference. I am bold and resilient. I have never stopped by obstacles or setbacks. Settling for less isn't in my name. I live and maintain high ethical standards and integrity. I take responsibility for the energy I bring into every space. As leaders, we are young, black, and ambitious. We flare up the fight for gender equality. From north to south, east to west, Africa, and those living outside of our continent. Our millennial fire emoji burns bright in our hearts. To impact positive, we impact and real sustainable change. And real sustainable change. We are the present leaders of tomorrow. We are the present leaders of tomorrow. We are Amazons with one mission. We are one action. To address gender gaps and alleviate gender equality. To address gender gaps and alleviate equality. I am a Black woman with valid dreams. And dreams. Nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. Here we are. Thank you so much for joining me to say the pledge statement. You guys, you need to live out these things to become better young female leaders. Yeah. Over to you, Elma. Bye from Uganda. Bye.
Thank you to the Ugandan caucus for meeting up together. I know it's very late on your side, but you have stayed there. We appreciate you and thank you so much. All right, we have come to the end of the program. But before we do, I love doing that. We're going to have some closing remarks from our incredible Divine that you've heard of many times. And as Divine is coming up, this is going to be the last time that I speak to you. And so, do I need to introduce Divine or do you know Divine? Do you know Divine is doing her PhD? You see, so you don't know Divine. You thought you did? Yeah, I am trying to find, I know Divine. Divine is in here now. All the pages have left me. I'm getting excited. Talk to me. What page is it? Have you seen how fancy this is? Can we talk about this? Lovely. Absolutely stunning. Page 47. Thank you so much. Oh, young Black female leaders. Look at how we help each other. So before I introduce, no, let me introduce Divine first. Divine is a 26-year-old Congolese young female leader. She is an award-winning women-led nonprofit organization. She works with the award-winning women-led organization, which is TheALI. She is a French lecturer, an author, a poet, a Christian podcaster, a researcher, an entrepreneur, and she is completing her PhD in political sciences at the University of Pretoria. Before Divine joins me on stage and before we give her a big round of applause, this is the last time I'm going to be speaking to you. So I also want to use this opportunity to say thank you for having me as a host and to leave you with my parting words, which are always strive for individuality and not conformity. Seek to dismantle superiority and challenge authority. Fight for equality and be the voice for the minority. With that being said, this is Divine.
Wow, we have come to the end of a phenomenal two-day leadership forum. Aren't you grateful to be here in this place? Even watching us online, it has been a remarkable journey with you. But in TheALI, we do not say goodbye. We say it is only the beginning. And we're not just going to let you go like that. We want you to understand that as you will be walking out of these doors, reality is going to hit once more. Maybe you will bump into someone that will make you feel like the words on your t-shirt are just a joke. Someone who will make you feel like maybe your dreams aren't valid at all. So we want you to keep everything that you have learned from the speakers, to what the facilitators have done, to how the associates have worked, the caucus leaders, the connections that you have made, so that you can preserve that fire within. Perhaps this is what is so different between forum and concerts. Because you go to a concert, you feel a euphoria, you go home, and you're depressed. But the difference with a forum is you gather the knowledge and you make the decision to change. And you make the decision to change your environment. So first of all, young female leaders, we want to honor you. We want to appreciate you for your patience, your kindness, for stepping up to the plate, for waiting for your transport, for fighting with us to be here. Really, it was amazing. Can you give yourselves a round of applause? So I'm going to leave you with these few words for I up with a surprise, if you may say. So these are my words to you from a poem that I had written in 2022, and it's called O African Child. And it says, speak, make ignorance go back to sleep. Show propaganda that Africa does more than just weep. That is what we need to do when we walk out of these doors. We need to change the narrative of this dark continent that everybody keeps on talking about. That the next time they say dark, they are complimenting your melanin. They're not insulting where you're from. So please, let's just keep all the lessons that we've learned today. And I will end off by saying a huge thank you to our mentor, to our trailblazer, to our woman power, Miss Mary Izubu. So Congolese people like to say force tranquille, to call someone who is so awesome. We just want to salute you, man. Can we give a salute to Miss Mary? Thank you, Chief, for directing us all the way to the finish line. And to that, I would like to call the board members or the caucus leaders associates to join me in front, as I also call Ms. Crystal to perhaps take over my finishing remarks and share something very, very short. Caucus leaders, associates, please step forward. Facilitators, particularly Chidima, Selma as well, if you could come forward.
I like how the line just left me up here. I asked her, I said, you didn't write anything for me to say? She said, I am so tired and walked away. Wonderful. Okay, I won't keep us here any longer. Everyone has said everything about what I feel should be in closing remarks. But we are all here to present something. And I know that before I start, there are two people, right? That have a presentation they wanted to make. And so I don't have their names, but you know who you are. They have special gifts for our wonderful leader, Miss Mary Izobo. This is from them, Mary. They thought of this themselves. Who is here to present it? Okay, come and say, yeah.
It's just a token for me, and there's something that I've been planning to do for over 1 year, and I had told Miss Mary about it. I'm trying to launch a business, and she's been encouraging me. She said, whenever you start a business, just let me know, I'm going to support you. And when I was coming back from my master's last month, I said, I'm going to launch it this month, and then the program coincided with it. And I said, she's going to be the first person that's going to have these books that I make if I give it to her. So I made one specifically for her, and I wrote a note for her. Dear Miss Mary Izobo, thank you for the gift of TheALI. I hope that as you use this gratitude journal, it serves as a reminder of how much TheALI has been a huge source of growth and inspiration to me and other young women across the globe, constantly reminding us that Black girls, your dreams are valid. Thank you, Miss Mary. So this is the book I made for her, and I'm just very, very happy to present this to you. And it means a lot that you are the first person that I've given this book that I made, and I know that presenting it to you, thank you so much for it.
Thank you, Mary. You might as well just stay here. Just stay here. I won't make you keep walking back and forth because there's more. this is kind of like Oprah, like, you know, you get a car, you get a car. Yeah, I wish I was giving cars out. I do. But no, we're giving out so much more. There's another person who's here that wanted to also present something to you, Mary. Please come forward.
Hello. My name is Salma from Kenya. To be honest, I have no words. I just have one word. Like, thank you, Miss Mary, for this amazing opportunity you've given us. It has opened our minds. Like we've learned a lot. I mean, I've learned a mountain of ideas. I don't know. I'm just grateful. I have no words. I'll cry if I talk. I don't want to get emotional, too emotional. I don't know. So with me here, I have an okay. It's a black girl that dreams are valid because yes, our dreams are valid. Thank you, Miss Mary, for this gift. But I decided to make something for you. It's a okay. It's a handmade mat. Small token. I hope you love it. It's a South Africa flag. Yeah. And yeah, I still have another one. It's a book. Now, Miss Mary loves book. I realize that. She loves books. I realize that. So I decided to brand a book with the Amazon Leadership Initiative logo with it. This is just a token for appreciation. Thank you very much, Miss Mary, for everything, countless things.
She wants to go back with her bag. No, thank you both for presenting this to Mary. You know, when an African says, I only have one word, that means they have many. So, you know, I thought she was just going to say one thing, and then I was like, oh, sure. No, but we appreciate it. Last but not least, it's us. You know, in Nigeria, we say we, like, this is your person. Mary, we are here to honor you, the Ali, caucus members, the associates, and the board. You know, being in those meetings, those closed doors meetings where we actually see the stress, the frustration that Mary was going through, that the associates were going through. You know, and the meeting before the last, when we had to change the dates of the forum, that was the day I felt like I could feel, you know, their disappointment and sadness. But then the board, we all rallied around Mary and the associates and told them, you cannot give up. Because they told us, oh, we feel like giving up. We said, that's not an option. Everyone said, look, we have to make this work. Everyone came together and started figuring out what can we do, who can we talk to, because when it rains, it pours. You guys don't even know the half of what was going on. And everyone tapped into their own talents, resources, networks to make sure that we could support. And so, Mary, we don't want you to give up ever. We believe in you. We believe in TheALI. And so we just want to honor you today. This is a token of our appreciation for your vision and sharing it with us. You know, I'm very honored to be here. This is my first opportunity as a board chair, and I hope I'm doing it right. And I always look to my fellow board members, you know, like, am I? Wait, hold that. That's one of my favorite songs. Hold that. I always look to my fellow board members, like when I'm sharing the meetings, like, okay, is this going right? You know, the protocols, all of that. So if I'm not presenting this right, too, feel free. If you have words as well, anyone who really wants to express themselves, feel free. But we would like to present something special to you. Yes, this was an effort coordinated.
The Trailblazer Award as mentor and Black Girl Original, presented to Mary Director of the South Amazon Leadership Initiative. With pleasure.
Step into the seat.
My lips are so dry, and when they're dry, it means I am preventing myself from crying. I did yesterday. The emotion, it's overwhelming for the gifts, the award. I'm not even sure why these girls still like me or even love me. I fight with them all the time. And that's because I feel like I know where they can get to. I know how far they can reach. I know their potential. And sometimes it just hurts me like, I know where you can get to, but why are you not reaching there? And so to the associates, the caucus leaders, everyone, facilitators, board members, young female leaders present here today, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for honoring me. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for hearing me. Because it's one thing to talk about the vision, but you guys make the vision so easy, you know. I remember whenever I tell people, we have a network of over 4,000 girls, 29 African countries. They're like, where did you get these girls? When some of the girls have to travel, I'm so worried because I'm like, child trafficking is real. I remember when Bettina had to travel. God, she's 16. I think we printed out all the documents from the world. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you sitting in the room, even to the Prudence School, right? Prudence, please, a round of applause for yourselves. This same year, I think April 19, to be exact, or 23, I'm not sure. You know, I'm very good with dates. They also honored me. I went to their school that day to give a talk. They gave me a certificate. They gave me gifts in like 7 bags. They just kept on bringing one bag after the other, one bag after the other, flowers, wine, pictures. I'm like, ah. But I think that it just shows that even as women, they always say we don't support each other. That's a lie. That is a biggest lie from the pit of hell. I want to say thank you to all of you for supporting me, for believing in me. And I see all of you, even with the young female leaders, how you say, oh, I remember asking one of the young female leader, are you okay? You sure you want to change? She's like, no, she's my best friend. I'm like, how is she your best friend? You just met her yesterday or even a few hours ago. We're going to eat now. I'm waiting for her, you know. And for Salome, please, a round of applause for Salome, please. Where are your moves, Salome? So there's no need to cry. I feel like there's been a lot of tears here. And I think it just shows the emotions, the love that we have for one another. And just to debunk the news again, that women do not support each other. Salome has been an active member of TheALI from the get-go. From this, I think from the first forum, this is the third forum that Salome is attending. She's attended every meeting. She was a facilitator last year, an online facilitator. She has given her time, her energy into this. And Salome is also a proud junior consultant of the United Nations. Just have to say that. It was a lot of, interviews, practice with Salome. And she even got selected this year. I think you saw her on the screen for one of the award, for one of the programs in Uganda. And I think it just also goes to show that our dreams are valid. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter whatever we think that we may be going through. As some of you know, maybe all of you know, that Salome is visually impaired. But trust me, she digs it more than any of you in this room, just FYI. And so I think, once again, thank you to everyone online. I don't think, we've engaged as much as we can, but I'm hoping that next year, I'm not promising, because once I say one thing, the associates jump on me. If I say that for next year is going to be bigger and better, I'm finished, because they don't jump on me. So I don't want to make any promises, but I look forward to engaging you all even more. I'm hoping that you're engaging your different caucuses. I know you're all in different caucuses. To keep engaging, please do not despair. I know we might not have as many programs, and that's because we don't have money. We're broke. I know some of you just say, but Miss Mary, why don't you just go to this person and just tell them to give us money? We're doing wonderful. That's not how real life works. We have to hustle for the money. And I'm hoping that we do have funding to keep having programs like this, not just even in South Africa, but in your different countries, in your different regions, because that's the dream that I have, that even the different people in different regions can have their own forum. And then at the end of the year, you all come together into an even bigger forum of, I talk about 1,000 women. So if we can let's see what we can do in another 3 to 5 years. But I will need your support as always. I will need your support as always. And thank you. Whenever we call you, you always answer. Whenever we say there's an event, Pan-African Parliament, this, that, you guys show up. You're always so many. Sometimes some people are like, maybe you have an army. I'm like, these women are the Amazons. They are indeed the Amazons. So once again, thank you so much. And I look forward to working with you even more. So I'm gonna do what I always do. Black child! Black child! And this is where I say, Mary out.